Thank you for joining NextLabs. Today's presentation demo, we will be discussing digital rights management and the SkyDRM Desktop solution. The agenda is as follows: digital rights management introduction, architecture review, use case review, and the SkyDRM Desktop demo. Solutions architecture. The SkyDRM Desktop client is what we will be concentrating on today. It is based off of one of the components of the SkyDRM server, which is the rights management services that controls the access to the files. So today will be the concentration, as mentioned, on the SkyDRM client itself. The key features are persistent data protection, supports over 100 different file types for protecting, view the content from any type of device. You can set it up with a project data room. You can have dynamic authorization through attributes and native integration. Typical desktop use cases allow securing document sharing across internet, any type of document or content, and that security will be based on access of the users, resource, and policy controls. So view, edit, print, validation period, etc. for a particular user collaborating, sharing files, company-based enterprise protection to local or remote users. Use case overview. In this business case, they need the ability to encrypt files and control access on users' desktops. With this, the NextLabs solution, the SkyDRM Desktop file encryption and access based on attributes, i.e. user, resources, environment, will be used to determine if they have access to the files or not. The SkyDRM admin. Here we will see a domain policy. Only secret can edit secret data. So in this scenario, we have a policy deployed that based on attributes of the IP classification and the security, if they do not match, then the individual that's trying to access those files will not be allowed to edit that information. Here we will see that domain policy for secret, which includes IP classification and secret, must match to view or edit as mentioned previously. You will see from the way this is set up, you have your resources and the people section, as well as what the protective rights are. In this case, it'll be view and edit. The SkyDRM Desktop demo. Here we will start off by looking at a setup of users for the demo. So in this case, we have 4 individuals, Ed, Steve, Hal, and Ross, each with a different type of clearance. And then based on that clearance, the type of file that they can access based on the IP classification, either top secret, secret, confidential, classified, or public, and what they're allowed to do with that file. In the first scenario, we'll be logging on to the SkyDRM Desktop, choosing the SkyDRM server to connect to. And our first individual, as we mentioned earlier, will be Ed. So Ed will sign into his SkyDRM Desktop. Ed will now go out to a folder on his desktop called Sample Doc, and there's a host of files listed there. We have different types of files: Excel, PDF, Word documents. In this case, he's going to open up a PDF document that's public, and as you can see, he can view the document. Now Ed's going to go out and open up a file that's top secret. So in this case, it's watermarked since the file is top secret. If he goes and takes a look at the properties, he'll see that he can do info, save, and print, and the reason he can save is because he has top secret for his security. Ed will now go and open up a secret Word doc. And in this case, again, we will see that the file's been watermarked, but when he looks at the file properties, he will see that he only has info and print. And the reason being that this is a secret classified document, not top secret. So his rights to that file are only to view the information for the file as well as print. Now we'll take a look at a confidential spreadsheet. In this case, Excel will launch. Again, we will see that it's watermarked. And once again, file properties information only shows info and print. Again, because it's not of top secret, which is what his clearance is for. And now we'll take a look at a Word doc that's classified. Again, this is watermarked. Here again, we can look at the information and the same results. Shows that he has info and print based on opening this file. Now we're going to see that Ed's going to open up a document. In this case, he's going to choose the NextLabs tab and be able to go out under the rights management and actually protect the file on the fly. So here he's picked public as far as the classification for this file. And now when he goes back to NextLabs, he can view the permissions within Word and see that it's set up for view and print because the IP classification is public. And we'll see it's got the NXL extension, which means it's now been encrypted. So here from the native Word document tool, he can actually do the protection on the file. The file that's then created, in this case, Ed can go out and open that file or view the properties of the file from his desktop, which is going to give you the same view that showed you within Word. Now, in this case, we're going to have Ed lock off of SkyDRM, and the next user, in this case, we're going to go in through the SkyDRM Desktop again. And now Steve's going to log in. Once Steve logs in, Steve again will open up the sample data. Again, choose those same files that Ed looked at. In this case, he'll open up the public Word doc. And once again, we will see since it's a public document, he'll be able to look at it and there's no watermark. In this case, it has info and print for that public document. Steve will now take a look at a top secret document. In this case, he'll be denied access to it because he doesn't have permissions to look at top secret files. So it won't matter if it's Word, Excel, PowerPoint, whatever, he won't be able to look at it. But since Steve's top level clearance is secret, in this case, he can look at that file. He can also save that file because it has an IP classification of secret. He will now look at a confidential Excel spreadsheet. Again, it's watermarked. Here he can look at info and has ability to print. Now we'll look at a classified Word doc. Again, it's watermarked. Again, info and print are what he has as far as abilities to go against that file if he wants to look at it. So now at this point, we're going to have Steve log off from SkyDRM. And now we'll have our next user of the 4 login. In this case, we're going to have Hal log in. Once again, it's the same desktop, but with a different user logging into SkyDRM, so they have different results based on the user's ability to look at the files. Same folder, same files. In this case, he'll look at that public Word doc. Again, it'll open the file up. We'll see that it's not watermarked. And once again, he can view info and print against that file to look at the properties of that file. If Hal tries to open up a sample PDF, that also opens as well because it's public. He now tries to open up a top secret PowerPoint and he'll be denied access because he doesn't have that security clearance in order to do that. Same thing will hold true if he tries to open up the secret doc. Again, he's denied access and permission to open that file because he doesn't have the rights to it. And lastly, we'll look at the confidential file of Excel, in which case he can look at that. It is watermarked, and he can also look at the properties and see that he can save it as well if he chooses to. And the last one will be classified. Once again, this is watermarked, but now in this case he can't even print it. He can only view the information about the file and view it on his desktop. Hal will now log out, and we'll have our last user log in the SkyDRM server. In this case, it's going to be our user Ross. And if you remember from our original diagram of the users, Ross has the least privileges of all the users. So Ross is now logged in. Again, same desktop, same sample doc, same files. First thing he'll do is go out and take a look at the public Word doc. Once again, when this opens, there's no watermark. He can view that. It's a public file. And again, info and print are the two things that you'll see that are highlight that he could actually do with the file. He'll now take a look at the top secret PowerPoint. He'll be given the message access denied because he doesn't have privileges to that file. He'll now open up the secret doc. Again, access will be denied on that secret Word doc as well. And lastly, he tries the confidential Excel spreadsheet and also denied access, as well as trying the classified doc, again denied access. So in this case with Ross, he has very limited capabilities as to the files that are available that he can actually view. Now we're going to go back into SkyDRM after Ross logs off. And in this case, we're going to have Ed log back in again. Ed at this point is going to choose a Word document that's on his desktop. So this is a non-protected file. He's going to change this file to say that this is a document that is secret as far as the document is concerned. And he'll now go up to the NextLabs tab, which we looked at earlier, and he'll protect this file. In this case, he's going to choose the company-defined policies to apply and an IP classification of secret and protect the file. As we can see, the file is now protected and watermarked. If he goes back to the NextLabs tab and looks at the permissions, we'll see that you have view, print, and watermark, as well as it's an NXL extended file with an IP classification of secret. So Ed has done this all through Word, so he didn't have to go into the SkyDRM Desktop UI. It's all handled through the interface within the Word application itself. Now Ed is going to log out again. In this case, we're going to go back in and log in through the SkyDRM server. And we're going to have Hal log in. Hal will now go out and open up that file, and he'll be denied access because he doesn't have access to secret within that classification. So in this case, Ed's created that file, classified it, and Hal doesn't have access to it. If we log out from Hal, again log back in through the SkyDRM server. In this case, we're going to go back in as user Steve. If you remember, Steve does have secret as far as his security. So when Steve goes out and tries to open that exact same file, and we see that Steve's now logged in, he's got no notifications, and he tries to open up that document, Word will open, and he will see that that document is there with a watermark. He can then check the permissions, and he will see that it's view, edit, and watermark for what he has as far as his security to access the file and do things to the file. So in this case, If Stephen wants to, he can update the file. So in this case, he's going to update by Stephen to show that that's been updated, and he can save it since he has that option. So here, created by one user Ed, denied access by user Hal, and now updated by user Steve. We go back in again after he saves it, and as you can see, the update did take effect, and he was able to save that file. This concludes our demonstration. Thank you for your time.